Good day everyone, I am Kenneth Ocampo from BSHM 1102 and today we will discuss how to eliminate hazard and risk.
A few moments later.
But before we jump to our topic, let's define what hazard and risk is. A hazard is a source or a situation with the potential for harm in terms of human injury or ill health, damage to property, damage to the environment, or a combination of these. Hazard at work may include noisy machinery, a moving forklift, chemicals, electricity, working at heights, a repetitive job, or inappropriate behavior that adversely affect a worker's safety and health. Risk is possibility of something bad happening. Risk involves uncertainty about the effects, implication of an activity with respect to something that humans value such as health, well-being, wealth, property, or the environment, often focusing on negative and undesirable consequences. This is my infographics about eliminating the hazard and the risk. I will discuss to you the steps how to eliminate hazard and risk. So, first I have 3 steps how to eliminate the hazard. So, the step 1 is identify the hazard.
Do not leave wet and slippery floors unattended without a sign, as people may slip or fall on wet areas. Ensure you display signs warning people do not walk where the floor is wet. Do not bend over an item in an attempt to pick it up, as you may hurt your back. Make sure you always bend from the knees when lifting an object. Do not attempt to lift heavy items by yourself, as this will cause serious injuries. To lift a heavy item, find a teammate to assist you with a 2-person lift, and remember to bend from the knees. Do not forget to use a horn when entering a pump truck through a doorway. You may run into people walking through if you don't give them a warning. Use a horn to warn people you are coming through so they will stop to let you pass. Do not use a piece of equipment that has a lockout tagout sign on it, as it means the machine is broken and will not work properly. If you would like to use equipment which has a lockout tagout sign on it, ask your supervisor why the machine can't be used and discuss different ways to complete the job.
This job can and should be done by anyone at a workplace. If you think you see something that is potentially dangerous, then report it to your supervisor or the OHS representative. Don't be discouraged by anyone who says it has always been like that. It could just be an accident waiting to happen. Remember that an unsafe work practice is also a hazard. The next step is assess the risk. The next job is to see how much of a risk the hazard poses. This is usually done by an occupational health and safety representative. The job is to assess how likely it is that an accident will occur, and if it happens, how serious the accident will be. And for the last step is make the change. The best thing that can be done with a hazard is to eliminate it. For example, if a piece of broken equipment is a risk, then it should be replaced. If it is not possible or reasonable, the next thing to do is to control the hazard. This can be done with barriers, signages, and staff training in procedure and safe practices. Remember, always check with your supervisor if you are unsure about a job you have been asked to do. On the other hand, I have 5 steps how to eliminate the risk. The first step is identify the risk. This one has the potential to be the most difficult as we don't always know what we're looking for. Because risks have a great deal of uncertainty, it can be difficult to pinpoint what exactly could pose as a risk in a business. Fortunately, there are plenty of free resources to help educate businesses about the risk that might be overlooked in their business, such as the OSHA hazard identifying tool or free checklist. You can also hire a safety professional to audit your worksite or business. They've been trained to identify potential risks and hazards and can offer suggestions on how to correct them. The next step is analyze the risk. Analyzing a risk can help you identify the potential severity of a risk so that you may complete the next step, which is our third step, is prioritizing the risk. Prioritizing risk can help you allocate your resources to risk that is pose a larger threat on your business as opposed to smaller threats with less severe consequences. The next step is treat the risk. This step obviously varies by business type and typically requires a certain strategy to eradicate the risk. The expansiveness of the strategizing is dependent on the threat the risk poses on the business. For example, if a threat to your business is an employee safety breach, then the business would want to strategize the ways in which it could promote a culture of safety with adherence to safety compliance. However, if a threat to your business is the state of the economy, then more extensive risk response planning might be necessary, such as consulting with insurance companies. And for the last step, which is monitor the risk. Exactly what it sounds like. You keep an eye on the risk so that you may respond and react in a timely. So those are the steps how to eliminate the hazard and the risk. I hope you learned something from me. Thank you.